Here's a little video of our house and our little miniature farm. We're getting some goats here in the next week or two, so this is not everything. There's my truck. There's usually some cattle out in that field. The neighbor's barn, who he lets us use his barn half the time. He don't keep anything in it, but he lets everybody else use it. And the creek bank here is what the goats are going to eat. There's a little bit of wood pile left from last year. Here's our rabbits right next to where we park the car of a day. There's Doc and Foo-Foo, and my wife named these rabbits, so there's Bunny and Bugs all stretched out. And here's the other cages down here where when they have babies they'll live. And right back here is another cage where we're going to put them when they have babies. The nesting box is already in place. It's a little bit bigger cage, so they'll stay under here for maybe a month or so. And here's our mud oven that we bake bread in. There's my little rocket stove that we can cook pots of soup or whatever on. Burn a little wood in it and it just burns like crazy. Here's our mud oven. Inside of it a little bit, you can't see much, but we had a fire in it last weekend and baked some bread and a pork shoulder, and it's two of the best steaks I've ever eaten in my life. Some baked potatoes. On down through here, it's a little shed where we keep our lawnmower and stuff. And I had to build a bow today, so I had the target out here testing the bow and shooting the bow a little bit. There's our big old compost bin. We put all our compost in and turn it once a day. And here's our chickens. There's our laying hens and a rooster in here. We got 5 laying hens and a rooster. Some of them are a little shy. We had 6 Cornish rock chickens, but they were for meat. So we've already dispatched them and they're in the freezer. Did that 2 weekends ago. Here's our laying hens. They're doing real good and growing. They'll start laying here in another couple months maybe. Here's our chicken coop. Used to be the neighbor's playhouse. He was wanting to tear it down, so I don't believe in wasting a whole lot. There's my lovely wife opening the door. So we took the neighbor's daughter's playhouse and turned it into a chicken coop. And it worked out really well. It's about time for the chickens to go in for the evening, so they're thinking about coming in to roost. So I think we'll shut the door and get on out of there. And here's what you call a chicken tractor. We can put the chickens in this tractor, in this thing here, and it's got wheels on it. You turn those levers up the other way and the wheels come up, and we can roll it around to the yard or different places in the yard. And when they're in that, if they're in it all day long and feel like they need to lay an egg, we've got them a couple of nesting boxes in here, so they can get up in there and lay during the day if they need to. And here's a cage that we'll use for different things. We let the rabbits play, get out and play in that, eat some grass, and that's probably what we'll put the rabbits in when it's time to dispatch some of them, to put them in the freezer so we can get to them real good. There's a young grapevine, a little trellis we've got for it, and a thornless blackberry. We're going to add another one to it and a trellis for that. Here's our little lettuce bed and some spinach just starting. Here's some romaine lettuce we've been eating on for a while, and some young romaine lettuce coming up we just got going. Here's some pretty leaf lettuce we've been eating on, and some more leaf lettuce. It's going to be coming up here soon. So we got plenty of lettuce, more than we can eat actually. And here's our garden. There's some sunflowers that a friend of ours from church gave us the seeds that came from the Biltmore estate. Big old head of sunflowers, seeds that he saved from last year. Here's our peas that are strung up. They're starting to grow pretty good. And we fertilized this year only with rabbit droppings. We didn't use a bit of fertilizer this year. So we've got rabbit droppings that we've put in the yard for fertilizer. We got the bush beans, and all our beans this year are heirloom seeds, so we can save our seeds from now on, and we'll end up with the same plants every year instead of the hybrids and stuff. You never know what you're going to get from the seeds. There's our potatoes, 2 rows of potatoes. And those are from potatoes that we grew last year. I just planted the potatoes that we had left over this season. And here's some bell pepper plants that are a little bit wilted because we just set them out yesterday or the day before. And we've got to water them here in a few minutes for the night. We got 8 bell pepper plants, and just starting up a little bit is some okra plants. And here's some volunteer potatoes that, just because my wife just get a kick out of it, it's the only reason I let them grow this year. But she's got them all weeded and healed up, and they're growing pretty good. They're growing bigger than the ones we planted so far. Yeah, we got some Brussels sprouts. Got a bunch of Brussels sprouts. They've not started putting out any sprouts yet, but the plants are good and healthy. Got about 32 plants of Brussels sprouts. And here's our broccoli. We've never grown broccoli before either, but they're looking awful good. Don't have any heads started yet that I've found, but they're growing awful healthy. And here's some more Brussels sprouts. We really like Brussels sprouts, so we planted quite a few of them. And over here is our tomato plants. We got some mortgage lifters, which my daddy and my uncle used to grow. We got some Amish paste, which is kind of like a Roma tomato, but it's a heirloom seed. And we got some Arkansas Traveler, which is a big sandwich tomato. I've never seen them before, but they were the heirloom seeds, so we're growing some of those this year. And our potatoes, another view of our potatoes, and over here's our corn. And it's a big yellow heirloom corn. I can't remember the name of it now, but so there's our garden for this year. We'll have a whole lot more than we actually need, which we normally do every year. And the rest of our little place. And as you can see, the creek bank is all grown up, just primed and ready for 4 goats to just live the rest of the year on. Don't know exactly what we'll do with them after that, but we may put them in the freezer too come winter time. And the rest of our little place here that I have to mow every week. And we'd eat. So, there's the tour with the brush pile that I've got to burn maybe tomorrow. And a couple of piles of barn wood that we build all kinds of things out of. And the little white flags up here you might see, we got 4 apple trees we got to get planted tomorrow. That's where they're going to go. And I planted them in a straight line so I can mow around them easier. So there's our little place. Isn't it pretty out here?